Welcome to the semi-finals for the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy June finals between DeMuslim and WAM. You can see there match E for pool 2. We've been covering all the other games as well. Check that out on the YouTube channel if you're interested. We will be after this video having the Mr. versus Lucifron. That's going to be a banger, and basically these four players are going to be fighting it out for their positions in the finals to battle it out for that golden ticket to Castle Heidelberg for the main event of the Redbull Wololo Legacy. And to start off the best of 5 in this set between DeMuslim and WAM, we have got DeMuslim representing Team Liquid in blue on the west side of the map, playing as the Delhi's alternate. And on the east side of the map, we've got the Canadian WAM playing in red as the Delhi's alternate as well. So it's going to be a Delhi's alternate mirror match, and it's going to be interesting to look at the build orders because you guys may know from my other videos on the channel that I'm very much interested in build orders and how to optimize. And a mirror match like this is a perfect opportunity to analyze that. We can see differences already that WAM has actually collected 50 wood from the straggler tree, and that's enabled him to afford the mosque to get that research going already. On the other hand, DeMuslim hasn't done such a thing. He's not gone for the straggler trees at all. He's actually gone for the lumber camp early. That does mean he's going to get forestry quicker, and then he's going to get the mosque for efficient productions and so on. It does mean that WAM's delayed his lumber camp and will be probably looking to chop some more straggler tree to be able to afford the wood for that. And as you can see, he's actually sending a villager to do that now. So slight variations. It's essentially looking at this a bit more analytically. What's happened here is WAM has actually prioritized getting efficient production and piety, which will come in quicker from the mosque. And DeMuslim has actually prioritized getting forestry. Now, actually, I'm more accustomed to doing the build that WAM does here. But I get the feeling, actually, DeMuslim's build is slightly better because he's actually already got forestry. Now, forestry is not hugely beneficial at this stage of the game. It's free, so you might as well with a Delhi. But if you're talking about fine margins, I feel like it's actually better to get forestry because he's actually getting wood quicker now, albeit very slightly. And you're not really going to be relying on piety too much. But one thing has to be said is that when you get to the feudal age, if you do the build that WAM's done, once it gets to the feudal age, usually piety has been researched. And usually, obviously, efficient production has been searched as well. That leaves sanctity to come in straight after clicking up to the feudal age or reaching the feudal age. And that means getting the sacred sites a little bit earlier. So that is one thing to bear in mind as well. So effectively, all things considered, in the builds that these players are doing, DeMuslim is trading getting forestry early versus WAM getting sanctity a little bit earlier. That is to bear in mind. And actually, having said that as well, maybe wheelbarrow and the rest of it will be coming in slightly quicker for WAM because of the fact that the mosque has a scholar in there getting the research done quicker, ever so slightly. Let's take a look actually. 49 seconds left on that wheelbarrow, and I believe, let's have a look. I mean, it's basically the same. It's basically the same for the wheelbarrow. It might be the case that WAM clicked the wheelbarrow a bit later, maybe, I'm not sure, but it seems pretty relatively similar. So I'm not sure one scholar makes huge amounts of difference to the research speed. But that's something actually I would love to know. How much is the research speed reduced by per scholar? I suppose it depends on the tech as well, so that could be an interesting thing to look at. In any case, we've kind of looked at the builds now, and both players getting up to the feudal age, both going up with the Dome of the Faith, I believe. Yep, that is the correct assumption. A very popular landmark for the Delhi Sultanate. WAM's one just about to be built. And looks like DeMuslim's is a little bit further behind, but not by much, that's for sure. Right, DeMuslim just being a bit annoying on that gold vein, has to be said, looking to harass those villagers, but WAM bringing his scouts back. He wants to keep 2 villagers on that gold vein for sure, because that will enable him to produce scholars persistently, or constantly rather, without any idle time on that landmark. Blacksmith going down for DeMuslim, looking to get those blacksmith upgrades, which are of course free for the Delhi Sultanate. Okay, what do we see here? 8 villagers on wood for WAM. 7 for DeMuslim, relatively similar, especially if this villager goes from building the blacksmith to wood. Double blacksmith opening for WAM, sorry, for DeMuslim, looking to get those upgrades in nice and early. That his military on the field will be having a period of time where they're a bit stronger because of the fact it does take some time for the blacksmiths to come in, but when these things are done and they're researched, 3 minutes, that's going to take a while, it's going to take a while, 3 minutes, but there will be a window of opportunity where his army will be stronger, that's for sure, and so WAM will be looking to get a blacksmith of his own, as we can see, building it with the berry villager there. And a horseman does pop out for WAM, looking to get some control on the map. Maybe looking to send his scholars out relatively soon for capturing the sacred sites. Let's take a look. Sanctity is still 2 minutes away roughly. And horseman chasing after the scouts here. It's quite a nice touch by Wham to get those horsemen early on the field. We'll be able to chase down those scouts. Scout from Wham just harassing the villagers on gold as well. But Wham certainly will have the early pressure in terms of map control with the army, and that will enable his scholars to maybe move out onto the field and to the mid-map to get access to the sacred sites. Alright, looks like DeMuslim going for a stable himself. Horseman running into the TC fire range, which is not ideal, losing some valuable HP. The scout diving deep in there for Wham. Doesn't get taken out though. Demi doesn't actually garrison his villages, which is understandable, doesn't want to idle his economy. Villagers from the god having to pull back because of the horseman. Horseman taking some damage there from the TC fire though. And as we can see, there's a 1 out of 1 there, which means the scholar has been garrisoned, looking to use that efficient production to effectively make this the equivalent of 2 stables. Horseman being pumped out right now, and DeMuslim matches like for like. He's also going for an archery range, so DeMuslim looking to have an archery range to follow this up. And a barracks going down for Wham. Interesting play. I tend to prefer going for spearmen, for archers and horsemen, just because you can get some damage per second without having to actually be in melee combat with the archers. But that does leave you open and vulnerable for your opponent just to go to double down on horsemen, because horsemen being doubled down on just a pure combination or pure army of full horsemen will usually beat horsemen and archers, obviously with equal sort of resources being used. But we're going to see some spearmen on the field, looking to solidify his position on the mid-map locations, in particular the sacred sites, I suspect, because we can see the scholars coming out now for Wham. Sanctity has been completed, so he will be able to have access to this now and probably be able to deny the scholars coming out for DeMuslim. 2 scholars being sent out relatively unprotected, but the horsemen are going to flank right round. The scouts are aware of this, but the numbers here for Wham are just so much better here, because he got the stable up earlier. And we said this, that, well, DeMuslim really spent the wood he had on 2 blacksmiths, which are still kind of, being researching. He has actually got quite a few of the upgrades now, which is quite nice actually, so his units will be stronger, that's for sure. But the issue is not so much how strong they are, it's how many of them you've got, because at this stage in the low numbers, it's really about the numbers. It's the numbers game. When you talk about low numbers of army, it's actually the numbers game that really matters. The upgrades do come into it, but it's really when the big fights happen that the upgrades take a bit more of an effect. There is that sacred site for Wham, getting that gold income now nice and steadily. That is the first blood in terms of getting the sacred site gold, and it goes over to Wham, playing in red on the east side of the map. A lot of horsemen here for Wham, and this is a clever play because he has invested into spearmen, but not that many. It's almost like he's getting the spearmen just so that he can wall up, because he's doubling down on the horsemen. Look at the horseman numbers there, and the archers. We talked about this earlier, how just pure horsemen will usually beat horsemen and archers. It depends on the upgrades, of course. And it looks like Wham's not trying to pressure the issue too much just yet. We're looking to seal up this position, wall up. DeMuslim looking to deny that though. DeMuslim won't want to take this fight. He may have better upgrades, but the numbers here for Wham are much better. And there's spearmen in the mix as well. Spearmen are going to join the fight. There is a scholar there for DeMuslim, which is certainly going to help his cause. And actually now Wham having to back off. And the issue about having archers, as we discussed earlier, which is quite a nice addition, is that they get damage per second. Like, even if the horsemen back off, if there's any sort of an indecisiveness, albeit that they're probably tickling the horsemen a little bit, but they do a decent amount of damage, they will be causing damage nonetheless, even if they're backing off. So that's something to consider. Look at that sacred site being decapped there on the north. It looks like Wham looking to get the south sacred site and the north one. The north one will be harassed by 1 horseman. There are 3 scholars there, which is rather smart to be able to heal each other up. Wham looking to wall up the south sacred site. The central sacred site has been taken over by DeMuslim almost. He's capping that now. Actually, he moves the scholar out of the way. He started taking it, but I think he moved the scholar out of the way, so he's not going to have access to that just yet. Archers, as you can see, picking off a horseman, or at least taking a lot of the HP. Oh, the waypoint for Wham's spearmen not looking good there, sending them forward to their death. And this is the thing, the archers can pick those spearmen off with good micro for sure. A lot of horsemen down the north way, looking to save those 2 scholars. There were 3, their brethren died. Oh, there is 3 there still actually. Just about surviving, may need to heal them up though. And we should see a heavy feudal age. It's actually quite exciting, the Daily Mirror, has to be said. These horsemen now going to moving back to the northern sacred site. This is under control of Wham, and he's got the south one as well. So overall, Wham will be quite happy with the situation, having 2 sacred sites to 1. This is where a big fight might be happening. Look, DeMuslim, represented by Team Liquid, representing Team Liquid rather. He is trying to force the issue on the northern sacred site, getting the archers there, leaving the horsemen to deal with the horsemen. They're on hot pursuit. 11 of them for Wham. Wham turns around and fights. DeMuslim pulls back. He takes a bit of a clobbering there on the south sacred site now. DeMuslim trying to pressure the issue, but he's actually going to get the walls up here, and that'd be important for Wham because he's going to secure that sacred site quite nicely. Yeah, decent trade here for Wham. He's getting good hits here, but the archer's going to follow up and behind for DeMuslim. But if Wham takes out the horseman, then he can really double down on fighting the archers. He backs off because the archers do decent damage against the horsemen. The horsemen aren't the greatest against arrow fire. Not as good as knights, that's for sure. The spearman here poking and prodding the scholar there in the central sacred site. And it looks like now Wham doubling down. He wants the central sacred site. And it looks like he's getting it. The Muslim looking to take down the palisade walls. That'll take a bit of time to do. The scholars are hitting them in the meantime. And the northern sacred site now, Wham is contesting that as well. Overall, looks a bit stronger for Wham. He's had the sacred sites for a bit longer. Expanding to the northern barriers of his base. Getting an outpost there for protection. Very important to do. Is also getting the deer down the side. The south side, again, defending his position with 2 outposts. And this is a nice play here. Wham keeping a scout there in the stealth forest just to keep an eye on things. And on the central sacred site now, a bit of a battle going on. Wham has scholars here, so it's not necessarily a fight that DeMuslim wants to take. The horseman will take out the horseman or DeMuslim. DeMuslim bringing 2 scholars of his own, but damage may have been done. Looks like Wham is actually going to lose his scholars though, because they're being microed down by the archers by DeMuslim. That's actually a nice play, although they are hitting each other relatively slowly. Once the scholars are down for Wham, that will become a problem. Wham going to take this though, because there are 3 horsemen. But I feel like there's enough archers there to deal with this, and the archers will take the fight. And holy moly, DeMuslim brings a heck of a lot of army into that central area to secure that location. That's exactly what he does. Wham has lost a lot of military there. Let's take a look. 39 for DeMuslim, 10 for Wham. DeMuslim took a fantastic fight and he's really clearing things out. But, I mean, look at the food economy for DeMuslim. It's pretty insane. He's losing villages. We didn't notice that, and clearly DeMuslim didn't either, because now it's down to 35 villages, 43 for Wham. That's actually pretty painful. He's going to lose another villager. DeMuslim sending his villagers out to die. Horsemen poking and prodding. And Wham quite happy to lose his army if he takes his villagers out. Holy moly. And the good thing here is though, the Wham stopped his production for quite a while, and that was probably the reason why he lost a lot of the numbers. But it means he's been able to take up to the castle age and has gone up with the House of Learning, and that's really key because he has got stables, 2 of them to be exact, and he's getting lancers. And this is going to become a huge problem for DeMuslim because he's got nothing to counter. He doesn't have spearmen. It's going to be a very hard transition for him to do that. And he will want to get crossbows, but obviously you only get crossbows in the castle age. He's going to be in the castle age relatively soon though, to be saved. And so that's not necessarily a big problem, but he's got there now, a couple of seconds behind. Wololo going off, I don't know entirely sure where. There it is in the middle of the map, but actually Wham's going to lose that scholar now because this is a huge army for DeMuslim. If DeMuslim keep this army alive, upgrade these units, this will certainly become a force to be reckoned with. 3 lancers coming for Wham. They're going to take some fights here, but the numbers will be taken out because of the numbers. Having to back off. Archers will tickle the knights, but still enough of the archers to cause some damage. In the south corner of the map is a bit horrendous here. Craziness. People going for the relics left, right, and centre. The relic has come in for Wham, so one so far. And the archers there in behind going to do some good damage against the lancers, just because of the fact that they're getting lots of shots away. But as you can see, it's mostly tickling. The lancers are now going to focus fire on the archers. Backing off though, Wham. He needs to build up a bit of an army here before he takes a fight, because kind of wasting the units otherwise. Horsemen looking to deny this scholar with the relic. Alright, let's take a look at the miniature count. Wololo going down in the south. I suspect DeMuslim would get that, so Wham having to back off. 36 villagers for DeMuslim, 49 for Wham. Wham doing a better job of keeping his villagers alive. As you can see, he got raided pretty hard on this berry patch, and that's probably been the difference so far. Not noticing that. Small margins. 2 relics are in for DeMuslim though. That'll help his economy slightly. Thing to be noted though is that DeMuslim has actually managed to capture the north sacred site. Wham's got the south one, and neither of them got the middle one. Oh, looks like Wham might be getting another relic, which is certainly helpful for his cause. Only got 1 so far. Oh, and another lancer being sent on the stone. Looks like DeMuslim saving up for maybe a town centre or a keep. One of the 2 for sure. Lancers taking a really good fight here on the archers. The archers will go down because these are castle age units here, lancers, and they're going to be clearing that up. Archers die. Never really got a chance to upgrade them. A keep does go down for DeMuslim, but he's going to lose numbers here with the lancers. He lost villages already, and he's going to lose some more. The keep will be going up, but at what cost? If the lancers come in from Wham, in fact he probably won't. He's just going to go straight into the heart of the base. He probably knows he can't deny this, but he's still getting good value. Killing plenty of villagers, and he's actually even going to kill the village in a bit. Wait, DeMuslim. He's not reacting. He's not garrisoning his villagers. He's distracted elsewhere, and this is a big problem. He's lost a lot of villagers. Holy moly, the reaction times there, not up to scratch by DeMuslim's high standards, that is, by the way. Because he is no slouch, but unfortunately his concentration just waxed there, and he's probably focusing on something else. Obviously lots of things going on the map, and now the village count really dwindling for DeMuslim. 29 versus 53. Wham just doing a better job of raiding, that's for sure. 2 relics are in. Getting the central sacred site as well behind this. The map control is really starting to be in Wham's favour because of the aggression. The castle's in a decent position, but it's just having to defend so heavily now because he's lost a lot of villagers here on that berry patch being so far forward. There is a tower elephant though for DeMuslim, looking to get village fortresses as well from that keep. Maybe able to access a second town centre effectively through that route. It'll certainly help the cause, but something has to be said here. Wham is getting control of the central sacred site. He's walling it up. And he's doing the same for the north as well, and that's really key. Let's take a look at the military numbers. That's going to tell a story because 10 military for DeMuslim, 22 for Wham. Things are totally reversed. Lancer going on a death wish, looking to get some villager snipes, but actually backs off. Goes down for free underneath the keep. Someone gave him some wrong instructions there. Bad geographical skills looking at the map because he runs right into trouble. And again, Wham looking just to be harassing the villagers. Woodline completely derelict there for DeMuslim. You see the wood count, or the numbers here, jumping from 18 to 0, 18 to 0, and that's just because they're having to pull villagers left, right and centre. Not able to collect stone too easily. He does have enough for another keep. Might be building that defensively. Probably will be because he's so... I mean, he's actually going to go aggressive. He's going to go aggressive with a keep drop, and he feels like he has no option. He is far behind on economy, and I think he probably feels a bit of desperation here. Maybe going... he's running straight into... Lancers here. This is not going to go down well, I don't think, for DeMuslim. Even if he does get the keep up, you have to question at what price. He's going to lose the villages left, right and centre. I think we're going to see the GG relatively soon. The keep doesn't go up. He pulls back. The villagers running to the death. This is so much idle time, let alone deaths. Oh my god, there's another Lancer battalion sniping villagers, and he's sniped DeMuslim for the first game of the set. The best of 5 is underway, guys. Wham takes this. The first game on Dry Arabia, the Delhi Mirror goes in the favour of Wham. DeMuslim looking for a response in game number 2, which will be coming up right next. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between DeMuslim and Wham, the semi-finals set for Pool 2, the June monthly finals for the road to Redbull Wololo Legacy. And we have for you on the right side, DeMuslim playing in blue as the Holy Roman Empire. Going for a second scout as well on the west side, we have Wham playing in red as the Holy Roman Empire as well. And looks like this is his second scout. Let's just double check on that for Wham. And, right. Yep. Second scout for Wham. Getting a lot of the sheep. Pretty nice for him. And DeMuslim cycling around, looking to try and get as many sheep these guys, because on mirror matches, really important to deny resources as much as you can in terms of sheep for your opponent. We shall see how these guys play this out. Holy Roman Empire mirror match. It's an interesting one because the Holy Roman Empire can be aggressive at times, especially if you go with the Burgher of Palace in the Castle Age. But it's often a fight for the relics with the Regulus Cathedral, especially in the long game. That really can pay off. And but the thing about the Regulus Cathedral is that, of course, you can only harbour 2 relics in them. So that's the thing to consider. If you can each get 2 relics, then it kind of cancels each other out. Not enough sheep here for DeMuslim. We might actually run out. Where is the scouts? Let's have a look. Let's take a reveal. Okay. So what I will release to you guys, or reveal to you guys, this is being casted not live, and so I did have a little bit of a heads up on what happened in this game. I won't be spoiling it for you, don't worry. But you'll see in a short while how I can shed some light on just having the post-match, not debrief, but discussion as to what happened. There are a couple of sheep here now, coming in for DeMuslim. And Wham, cycling around. Pretty standard opening. It looks like actually, yeah, we tend to see the prelates inspiring the gold villagers. We see that for both players. 4 villagers coming out to gold for DeMuslim. Actually 3. Yeah, no, 4. And now starting to go to wood. A lot of sheep there for Wham. Wham, interestingly, shooting the deer. Maybe looking to make sure that they're not close to each other so they can't be pushed in for a mill. I suspect that's what's been going on anyway. Lumber camp, though, back at home, not being placed, though. 2 villagers chopping. We'll want to do that. We'll want to bring the lumber camp. It won't be the biggest deal in the world if they do drop it off to the town centre, but it's not ideal, not efficient. And now it looks like he's sending 3 villagers, maybe to go to build the Ark and Chapel, in a very nice location, all things considered. We've got the gold villagers being inspired, the wood villagers being inspired, and also the sheep. Very nice location. Let's take a look at what DeMuslim's up to. He's also going up with the Ark and Chapel as expected. Inspiring the village on gold, and on wood, and on sheep. Like for like. That is the mirror matchup for you. Alright. DeMuslim struggling. He's did a bit of scouting info, keeping both his scouts together, and he calls it. DeMuslim calls it. Holy moly, that was the second game. That was a quick game. Probably the quickest game in the history of a semi-final match for Age of Empires 4. Now, you guys are probably thinking, was that actually a resign or was it a restart? Only 3-4 minutes into the game. And to be honest with you, I thought the same thing. So I had to get a bit of clarification on that. And it was indeed a resignation. And I just had a quick message to DeMuslim, and he mentioned, during one of Twitch streams that is, and he just mentioned that he didn't get many sheep. And that's what he was worried about. He was concerned about the fact he didn't get as many sheep, and so he felt like in an HRE mirror match, that's actually a really big thing. And so that was the reason why he called it. That's the reason why I called it. So that was actually a resignation. Wham gets the second game on the set. DeMuslim looking to bounce back in the third game. That's shedding the light. That's why I explained earlier that I actually had to check and find some information after about the game as to what happened there. And that was the explanation. That was the reason that was given. So Demu called it there. And wham, gets the second game of the set. We'll be moving swiftly on to the third game. Stick around for that one, because that's going to be a match point for Wham. And if he wins it, he'll be progressing to the finals for the June monthlies. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to game number 3 between DeMuslim and Wham. Wham has match point. If he wins this game, he's through to the finals, which will be a good progression for him, looking to secure his place in Castle Heidelberg, Germany, for the main event for Redbull Wololo Legacy. DeMuslim playing on the west side of the map, which is Altai, by the way. He's playing in blue as the Chinese. And in the east corner of the map, as the Mongols, we've got Wham playing in red, looking to seal the deal, looking to book his tickets, his flights to Germany. If he can win this one, that's what he will do. The Canadian close to it. But will the Englishman put a spanner in the works? He needs a win here, DeMuslim, to fight back, to have a chance of progressing himself. Going with the Chinese on Altai. Now, I've seen DeMuslim play a lot of Chinese on Altai, actually, right from the get-go of the game, really. I've been sticking around in his Twitch streams, which you should check out, by the way. They're really good fun. And he plays a lot of Chinese on Altai. I've noticed that about him. He seems to like the civilization quite a lot. And obviously, each player has their own characteristics and civilizations they like to enjoy on certain maps. And I feel like Chinese is one that DeMuslim likes to play. We shall see how it goes about this, because the Mongols are going to be looking to pressure the issue. They often go for an outpost rush. We see this all the time during the road to Redbull Wololo. The Mongols pushing forward with the barracks, probably spears and maybe some outpost rushing. We shall see if that's what Wham decides to do. It does seem that way. He's queuing up 2 spearmen, double producing from the Ovu, which is actually very nicely tucked nearby the town centre. Their spawning is the issue about the Mongols. It's always something to consider, because you know, they've got mobility. They always go to the wood line, but you always have to look at where the Ovu is. Is it pressurable by the opponent? In this case, absolutely not. The gold is a bit of a problem for him. It's kind of on the other side of the wood line, not really where he wanted it. There's another gold line there, but that's really far away. But something has to be said about map control and RTS games. Like, with this pressure that Wham is putting on, it means that he's unlikely to be put under pressure himself. And that means he can pretty much safely take this gold, even though it's pretty exposed. And he's getting the Khan forward to see what's what, and looking to see where he might be able to put that first outpost. We see the gold there horribly far forward for DeMuslim. That's certainly probably going to be the focus for attention, as we can see it is. The village is going to be popping down an outpost there, I'm sure of it. Maybe even looking to put it on the wood line as well, actually. Now, it has to be brought into consideration that the Imperial official can always pick up tax and drop it off, so it's not really a case that you could deny the Chinese from getting up to the next stage. But they can certainly do a lot of damage with the outposts, and not necessarily denying the feudal age, but, you know, denying production of units, especially going up to the castle age, because it is a little bit harder to afford that 600 gold just by tax collection alone. Barracks going down for DeMuslim. He's reacting. I think he probably sees... No, he doesn't actually see that. I think he sees the barracks. So probably assumes that there's an outpost area. He sees it now, that's for sure. Scout going to be scouting that out. And he can't get too close though, because there are 4 spearmen now and the villager. So we're going to be learning a bit more about the Mongol outpost rush and how to defend it potentially. This is actually a really nice map gen though for DeMuslim, has to be said, because this is safe wood. Like, you don't often say that about Oldtime, that you have purely safe wood here. Because, okay, he might be able to drop an outpost there. It might just about range, actually. I'm not sure. If it does range, then that's pretty bad. But if it doesn't, then it's absolutely fine. That'd be hugely protected. A village going down for DeMuslim, a very cost-efficient way of getting population space. For the Chinese, I think he's going to drop an outpost there. He actually is, and I'm not sure if that ranges it. There's villages, because if it does, then that's actually horrendous for DeMuslim, has to be said. If it doesn't range it now, it's not a problem, because it will later, especially when the wood gets chopped up and they have to go closer to the outpost. This is certainly a really good investment for the future, and I feel like now, if you're WAM, you really want to get up to the next stage as soon as possible, so you can get those arrow slits, because these outposts, when they're ungarrisoned, they're pretty useless actually, unless you have arrow slits in them. And if you're DeMuslim, often the way to defend against outpost rushes is to try and reduce the number of outposts that go up in strategic areas. But when you notice that your opponent, playing as the Mongols, goes up to the next stage, that's really when you want to try and rush down as many of the outposts as you can. What you will want to do as the Mongols, though, is actually garrison these outposts with the spearmen just to bide some time until you can get those arrow slits upgrades. And that's really key, because sometimes you see people doing Mongol outpost rushes, they run away with their spearmen, being a bit too greedy with the outposts, trying to get a third one up maybe. And because their outposts are ungarrisoned, and the spearmen are out of position, their opponent can often just rush down with villagers and burn them down, and it becomes completely useless, really. And I think what WAM's doing here is chopping the trees to try and get closer, maybe looking to put another outpost there, and that would certainly range that wood line, and that would become a problem. That would force DeMuslim to move on to another wood line, possibly on the east side of his base. See more spearmen coming out. WAM. He is going up with the deer stone, so he will be getting up to the field age at a decent time. When he does that, good old arrow slits will come out. But DeMuslim, he's actually really hard investing in spearmen, double producing, or supervising rather. He's keen on getting rid of the outposts. So this is what we discussed. Sometimes you can pull villagers, but DeMuslim feels like, actually, I want to be pulling spearmen. I want to get rid of these guys, because he doesn't want these hampering his chances of getting to the next stage and next stage of the tournament. He's going to rush these down, and this is not a bad plan, because it will work. He will suffer losses, that is for sure, but it feels like it could be worth it in the long run. Especially with the number that he has, he won't lose too many. Now there's lots of spearmen on the field for both players, but I'm going to lose a couple of them. They can't just being annoying. As you see now, the second outpost is going to go down. I wonder if DeMuslim is going to focus fire on the villager. That might be a good idea, but the villager does pull back now. WAM gets up to the feudal age before DeMuslim, which is not what you often see in outpost rushes like this. This is a fascinating game. This is a fascinating demonstration of an outpost rush and how it can be countered by the Chinese. This is super interesting for DeMuslim, actually. I've never seen this kind of reaction with the mass amount of spears that are being produced. Usually it's a fast feudal age into archers that players do. But there we are, DeMuslim showing that you can fight this back this way as well with a lot of spearmen. Now sending a lot of villagers with the Barbican of the Sun. Probably going to look to snipe this outpost as well. This is going to get a little bit of extra value for WAM, because as soon as this goes up, which it will, he will garrison in and he'll kill a few more units. Just for good measure. And now the spearmen are probably going to back off for WAM, because he... I mean, no, not actually, the arrow slits going to do good damage because he's not seeking this down. A lot of spearmen went down. He's lost a lot of them to DeMuslim. He's going to try and rush this Barbican of the Sun up. It will go up. Spearmen for WAM going to head back. He feels like he's got the damage he's done. But this is the key thing. WAM has actually managed to get an outpost. And the really key thing is a villager survived. He's going to be able to build another outpost and continue to get arrow slits. This is actually huge. So WAM getting the better deal of the situation in the trade. You've got to feel. The thing is, though, the Barbican of the Sun is in a very nice spot, because it protects the gold, and it's a decent way to protect the wood line as well, especially with these walls going up. So overall, I mean, there is an outpost for sure, and that is good. It's going to deny the wood line and certainly set things back a little bit for DeMuslim, but it has to be considered that, well, it only denies the wood. And that's the key thing for DeMuslim. He's been able to limit the progression of the outpost to just deny the wood. If it denied the gold, that would have been a special problem because DeMuslim would have to go all the way outside here to get that gold on the flank. And that's obviously a little bit more risky, a little bit more exposed. Defensive outpost does go up for DeMuslim though, obviously building it quicker as the Chinese, forcing Wham to head back a little bit. Still going to continue with the outpost though, so he can kind of get control of the secondary gold in case it ends up that direction where the game lasts that long, that becomes significant. Back at home, because of the aggression, you can safely create pockets of economy like this to get the deer. Alright, I think the game's going to quieten down just a little bit now. The Muslim's going to have a chance to build his army and his villagers back out. Let's take a look at the villager and the economy, because we saw a lot of action there. Sometimes it can cause, even with the best of players, a little bit of idle time on the town centre. 31 villagers for DeMuslim, 30 for Wham. No more production buildings going down for Wham. You can see a full focus on getting to the castle age. It's the typical kind of outpost rush into castle age. And it looks like DeMuslim's going for the Song dynasty, building up the Imperial Academy, looking to make those town centres run faster. Or the one town centre really, it's only got one. Quite a few villagers on gold here, 6 of them for Wham, looking to get that 600 gold to be able to click up to the next stage. Getting a decent amount of food on the berries and the deer patch. It's a shame that he's not going for these deer, which are actually really hugging the these positions of the deer are absolutely perfect. Holy moly. If he shoots these down, that'd be really nice for him, but it's actually the villager's going to push these deer away. You can see. That's a nice position, guys. Don't even need wheelbarrow for that. Well, you do, because wheelbarrow actually increases carry capacity rather than just speed of movement. A lot of spearmen here for Wham, looking to pressure the issue on the right side now. Going to siege down the palisade walls. The outpost will go up though. There is the castle age uptime for Wham, going for the step out, no less. We expected that. Don't try and siege through, but the outpost does go up, and Wham will probably not want to take this. I mean, he is though. He's trying to siege us down. I'm not sure if he's reacting or noticing, because he's going to lose the spearman here. Looking just to keep him open though. This is actually not necessarily a bad trade, because keeping DeMuslim open would be an ideal play, because the lancers may be coming in to follow behind. We don't see any stables though, so maybe not. But he's going to lose a lot of spearmen. He actually pulls back. I was trying to justify this, but actually not really, because China's going to be building that up again anyway. It is what it is. On the west side now, a stable going down for Wham. This is super aggressive. This is a nice play. He notices that DeMuslim was open on the left side. Not anymore though. Instead we're going to go around, looking to siege that way in. But if you're DeMuslim, you feel probably a bit safer now that you've got the walls up on the side. If you're Wham, I don't know how I feel about this, because he's not going to be able to double produce with the stable. Firstly, and secondly, he's not going to be able to get through on this left side. You get the feeling that he could just run through with the lancers through the middle of the base if he wanted to, and run and harass. But instead he's not going to be able to do that. Aerostats has been completed for Wham on an outpost here or there. Probably this one. Stable has been built. Looking to get those lancers out now, as you can see. 10 villagers on gold, and Wham is looking pretty strong with the economy, but the thing is that the Chinese now have the Song dynasty. The village count will be rising for the Chinese. Wham at 37 villagers, DeMuslim at 41. That gap will get even wider unless Wham gets a second town centre of his own. And has that stable actually produced anything yet? Oh yeah, Lancer's just about to pop up now. No waypointing for that Lancer. Actually going to cycle back, because there's no way in. I suspect what he did with Lancer, he probably clicked into the base, but there is no way through on the west side, so the Lancer decides to go the long way around. Bit of an awkward situation there for Wham. Holy smokes, how did he get that? He sent villagers. Wham sent more villagers. He's getting an outpost here. Holy moly. Looking to deny the wood line. Going to send some outposts on the right side as well. Second town centre for DeMuslim. Holy moly, he's being greedy with the villager counts. Looking to be really economical with the... yeah, he's basically creating a massive eco. Wham's going to need to be on a timer here, actually. He's going to need to put a bit of pressure on with military. He's going for some man-at-arms and some lancers. Now, I really like the man-at-arms play because the Muslim's still in feudal age, and he's really committed with 2 town centres on dynasty. That's actually pretty greedy against the Mongols, you feel, especially with how aggressive Wham is being here. Because the thing is that it doesn't really have a counter for the man-at-arms. Well, the man-at-arms are kind of getting chewed up by the hand cannon slits in the outpost, has to be said. Another outpost going on the right side. Well, I'm keeping a lot of map control by doing this. Back at home, getting a pasture. Getting pastures up. Blacksmith as well for the upgrades, I suspect. Would love to have Iron Endermesh, I suspect, because then he'll be able to dive his the enemy's eco a little bit harder. There are spearmen on the play, so I'm not sure lancers are going to be a good use of his resources. Probably man-at-arms is to play, because those will chew through those spearmen. Obviously that offers less mobility on the field, but he's going to have to do that if he wants to fight up against the spears. He could transition to veteran archers as well, to be fair, but they won't be as great at diving underneath town centres. There are the man-at-arms looking to fight against the spearmen. Spearmen will get a decent trade because there's just so many of them. Man-at-arms are dying now pretty quickly, purely because of the numbers more than anything else. 14 minutes on the clock. The game's been a bit crazy so far on Altai. You can see just the red dots there on the minimap. A lot of control here with arrow slits here, with even sprinkled emplacements on the outposts. That's going to be frustrating for DeMuslim, not able to get wood safely, at least without kind of a little bit of risk involved. Going up to the castle now with the astronomical clock tower. This is actually quite nice because he's going to be able to produce siege from this landmark, probably in the form of trebuchets to start taking these outposts down. And you get the feeling though for the Mongols, this is all a bit of a distraction. Okay, we see a double archery range going down for Wham, looking to make that transition. And continue with the map control. Holy smokes, he's really starting to pigeon in DeMuslim into his base. But there is the castle edge coming in for DeMuslim, maybe looking to get some trebuchets on the field. And if you can do that, you might be able to push these outposts back and get a bit of breathing space again, because that's what is lacking here. We see the outpost coming here on the left side as well for Wham, looking to keep an eye on things just to make sure that DeMuslim doesn't expand here on the left. Reaching Castle Age himself now, DeMuslim maybe even looking to contest some of the relics, but he's so pigeonholed here, actually, the monks won't be able to go anywhere without getting sniped past the outpost. And this is actually quite an important thing, because now this leaves Wham the ability, as you can see, to bring those relics back home. He's already got one in play already, moving out the Gur on the right side for the deer. This could become an issue because whilst DeMuslim has a lot more villages, I suspect by now, 65, 48, the economy is very well condensed and he's not going to be able to expand too quickly. Even the woodline is going to struggle for woodline, because you can see the outpost doing the job on those tree choppers. So he's going to need a trebuchet or two. One is coming out. And looking at actually going to be just sieging these down, these outposts. I think DeMuslim's had enough. He's going to siege them down with the spearmen. But he's probably going to suffer a couple of casualties, because these ones I think have got sprinkled emplacements now. Actually, these ones have just got arrow slits in them. This one is a defensive outpost here for DeMuslim, offering some protection on that woodline now. And now DeMuslim's going to be able to get wood here on the west woodline. DeMuslim's going to be able to get the map control back relatively soon, especially with the trebuchet now on the field, looking to snipe down those outposts. Wham, on the other hand, let's just see the army composition that he's opting for. He does have 3 arch rangers now. Quite a sizable number of 4 arch rangers. Scrap that, 4 arch rangers. He's going for, looks like to be crossbowmen, which would be a nice unit to have. You can often be feeling quite safe with crossbowmen, primarily because often your opponent will be going for armoured units in the form of knights or palace guards, in this case for the Chinese. And obviously the crossbowmen will be the natural counter, but even if they go for relatively heavy amounts of spearmen, well, whilst archers would be a better counter, crossbowmen they're not too slouchy, they can still do a job. Right, so Wham's slowly starting to build up the army. He's building the springles on the field, maybe looking to actually siege down or snipe that trebuchet. If he can do that, it will actually delay the push even further, or delay the expansion capabilities of DeMuslim even more. This could be a sneaky thing that it's going to do. It looks like it's actually going to do that. It's going to snipe. It does. DeMuslim will have vision on that. Might be sending some villagers to snipe that if he can, but I think this outpost does have hand cannon slits, so we'll be taking out the springles. Maybe could be able to dive that, but doesn't want to rush it too quickly. Sacred sites are starting to be caught by, or captured rather. The central one in particular by Wham. Let's take a look at the relic count. He's got 3 of them so far. Possibly looking to get the remaining 2. I don't quite see them on the minimap, so maybe he's already got them in his clutches. That could be pretty important to get 5 relics here. That's 500 gold per minute. Equivalent of about 12 villagers. Just over 12 villagers that would be. Trebuchet is now on the field for Wham, looking to put some pressure on the Barbican and the Sun. The Spearman going out to defend against the Lancer. Villagers coming out for DeMuslim, maybe to drop a keep on that forward gold, because it will be running out of gold, I suspect, by now. Actually, it's still got a pretty decent amount. 2,000 odd left, and looking to secure this position, but there are 2 trebuchets on the field looking to snipe down that keep. Oh, the keep almost goes down before it is even built, and DeMuslim has to back off. The trebuchet's right in position at the right time. Crossbowmen also looking to try and snipe some villagers if he can, but they can't. Villagers for DeMuslim looking desperately to repair that Barbican and the Sun, but there are 2 trebuchets. 2 Nesta Bees, though, will be pushing this back. Or DeMuslim looking to push those crossbows back, who are now building another Springalds. So the Springalds will be looking to take out the Nesta Bees and the Trebuchet. But there are a couple of Springalds there for DeMuslim of his own. The thing is, DeMuslim will be using a lot of wood. He's got plenty of wood, though, to be fair. A lot of villagers on wood. Holy moly, look at that. 37, 29 villagers on wood. This wood line almost going to be taken out. And the issue is, he's not... There he has cleared this up. He has actually cleared the outpost there on the right. That's actually quite significant, because that's going to be his natural resource for wood again. Barbican and Sun slowly being sieged down by 2 trebuchets. Villager count now sitting at 89, 60 for Wham. You feel like if you're Wham, you're going to be starting to need to push things a little bit before the eco starts to build up into an insane army. And now the Springal's now starting to force the issue, looking to take the fights and the engagement underneath the Barbican and the Sun. Villagers are going down to the crossbows. Crossbows taking the villagers down means that the Barbican and the Sun will fall to the trebuchet. The Spearmen are going to rush in and do a job on a couple of the units, but this is an issue because the Barbican and the Sun is garrisoned with 10 villagers as well. That'll be doing a lot of work on the crossbowmen. I'm not sure if Wham's overextending here, but there aren't that many Spearmen. Springals are larger in number for Wham, so could take cost-effective trades against the Springals for DeMuslim. The crossbowmen are doing a large number on those Spearmen. Again, the Barbican and the Sun has been... The villagers have come out, mining gold like anything else. Getting the siege on the field with the siege workshop as well to add to the clock, astronomical clock tower. It needs the siege numbers now. 4 Springals on the field for Wham. Still putting the pressure on with the 2 trebuchets. DeMuslim needs an answer to these trebuchets. They're constantly pounding this Barbican and the Sun. And the issue is now is that I keep not going up on the secondary gold. This primary gold will be expiring very soon. He's got a lot banked up, 1,200 of them. The problem is he's all out of gold. There's no other gold resource that's at his disposal to take. Nothing on the left. On the right, he could expand on the right because there's nothing there to stop that actually happening. It'd be interesting to see if Wham could get an outpost there with Springal replacement. That will certainly help his position. But in any case, he's doubling down on the front line. Getting a siege workshop and the deer stones is there for the movement speed. Holy moly, he's pushing on a lot of firepower. The villager's actually going to rush down the second gold mine, exposing himself slightly. The crossbowmen are going to be diving in a little bit, you suspect. Springal's coming forward, trebuchet of his own, DeMuslim. Quite a few Springals actually, that's quite a nice move. Looks like it's the age of Springals all over again. Again, the Barbican and Sun still being repaired by 6 villagers. The issue is that DeMuslim is having to put a lot of wood into this. So that's a lot of resources being put in just to defend that position. Now the crossbowmen are going to rush in, kill a lot of the village advantage that he had, but there are Nesta Bees there. He's got to be careful about the Nesta Bees. Springle's looking to snipe down the Nesta Bees first, I suspect. Yep, that one's going to be going down. No more Nesta Bees in play, and that's important. Springles, though, are quite a large number for DeMuslim. And Wham has to pull back with his Springles, but villagers have to be pulling back for DeMuslim. Can't get access to gold safely here. That's becoming an issue. Loses the Imperial Official as well. Villagers are struggling to keep this Barbican and Sun alive. It needs a lot of wood, doesn't have the wood to do it. 32 villagers on wood as well. Although, to be fair, before these guys, although it's 41 now. Holy moly. Trying to keep this alive and afloat, but slowly but surely, these 2 trebuchets have been doing a lot of work. Starting to now move the position. You get the feeling that if Wham can get some outposts on this gold, although there is an outpost there for DeMuslim, nothing in there in the form of arrow slits or hand cannon slits rather. The forward siege workshop now getting another trebuchet being produced as well, not just building them on the ground, they're actually building them themselves from the siege workshop. I got sniped there as soon as it got built. That's pretty rough. 5 Springles on the field, easily one-shotting them. There's not enough Springles here, you feel, for Wham. Getting a keep here on the right side, that's going to offer some protection on the stone. At least might be able to afford another castle out of that. And the crossbows looking to dive the situation, take out some of the spearmen and the Nesta Bees. Got to be careful about the Nesta Bees, doing a lot of damage on the crossbows. It has been moved on to spread formation at least. Villagers were going down, at least a couple of them on the keep. The keep does get garrisoned, so the army has to pull back here for Wham. You probably think that Deer Stones has to be pulled back as well. And DeMuslim getting a bit of control back again. Nothing happening on the right side though. Bear in mind that Wham has got 2 sacred sites now out of the 3. Looking to get the 3rd there in the south with an outpost protecting. Let's take a look at the relic situation. Because slowly but surely he's got 5 relics. Holy smokes, guys, that's a lot of villages. That's actually just over 12 villages. 87 villages for DeMuslim, 71 for Wham. If anything, economy-wise, they're pretty neck and neck considering the relic count and the sacred sites too. Wham just retreating back to the central sacred site. Need to build up the numbers. And you kind of get worried for Wham here though, because if DeMuslim can pull this one back, he will be finding a way back into the set. And he's playing with the Chinese. The game going longer and longer does offer him the opportunity. Wham could technically go up to the Imperial Age, and that's exactly what it's going to do. Let's just see what landmark is going up with. Probably Spirit Way, we shall see. No, it's the White Stupa actually. Not a bad option here. The White Stupa acts as an Ovu, produces 240 stone per minute without a stone outcropping. Buildings within the influence of the Ovu can spend stone on improved production items. Unit production produces 2 units instead of 1. Researchers have improved effect. Pastures produce sheep faster. This is important because it means that the Ovu will be able to be used significantly well with the double production. That means units will be on the field quick time. Especially if he loses his army on the field, the reinforcements will come in thick and fast. Separate out, moving to the forward gold now, getting a lot of the gold on the field. Looking to secure the gold positions. This is what we were talking about earlier. Deer Stones needs to be brought back actually. You might lose this if he's not careful. Especially with the Trebuchet now firing it. I think Wham might lose this. He's not paying attention. I think he's lost track of this. It's on fire. Deer Stones might be going down, guys. Alright, step out, moving over to the left side now. Looking to take this forward gold here, I suspect. That is exactly what he's doing. You can see the outline of the step out. 3 trebuchets on the field for Wham, looking to take down the castle. Looks like the keep will be going down though, although DeMuslim does have quite a lot of wood to be able to repair at this stage. Still not being able to expand. It's actually moving out on the left hand side. There is an outpost there, so Wham will see this. It looks like he's going to invest in something. Springwood, but that's going to be going down, although at least it's revealed the position. But Wham didn't have any emplacements there. That's an issue, and DeMuslim getting an outpost of his own. Sees the stable as well, looking to stonewall this area. That's actually really key, because that will actually offer him stone, 2 crops of stone, berries, and a lot of wood, and deer as well. The gold might become an issue. Be interested to see if he's actually going to get emplacements on this at all. He hasn't yet. Putting down a Gur is getting 1 emplacement here on this outpost. Let's get to the Imperial Age. The Muslims still in the Castle Age. That has to be brought into consideration, because now these veteran horsemen are in play, and they're looking to maybe dive and take out the siege. We've got a lot of Nester Bees though. There are a lot of Nester Bees. You just feel that if Wham can't push soon, he will be pushed back by the Chinese with their superior economy. A couple of bombards on the field, just the one actually. 3 trebuchets. Stone walls going down on the left side. The stone walls have been fully built now. Keep going there as well to solidify the position. The Muslims struggling for gold. This is the key issue. He's moving around now with 16 villagers, as we said, to try and get access to the gold. Gold is the issue for DeMuslim, but there are 3 outposts here. Only one of them has got a springboard emplacement though, so there's got to be careful. Looks like DeMuslim is going to try and siege this one down. There's no springboard emplacements on these ones. If there were, that would have been the end of this. But instead, going to be able to siege this outpost down relatively slowly, all things considered. I think Wham's going to move out to the right side, perhaps. He's running out of gold here. He's only got siege on the field, DeMuslim, in the form of Nester Bees and Spring Walls. He's going to dive this though with the crossbows. Might take a lot of damage, holy moly, to the Nester Bees. Not ideal. I think the Barbican and the Sun will be going down now, because there are no villages on hand to repair. On the north side, he's going to be sieging down the outposts. We'll be having access to gold again. But for how long? Barbican and the Sun goes down to only the Imperial Academy, Town Centre, and Astronomical Clock Tower. You just get the feeling that DeMuslim doesn't have access to gold for the units that he wants. That is the big problem. He's been denied of gold for so long, only just been able to get up to the Imperial Age. Getting another keep though, that will be key to stop the push, but there is Bombard there. Bombard takes out the keep. I think he lost the resources. Holy smokes, Bombard did just one-shot that keep. That is actually really rough. DeMuslim lost a lot of stone there, but he has been getting stone for a long time now with a lot of villagers. 24 of them here on the north side. Gold being taken now by 27 villagers. That's quite key. That's the gold input that he has. But it might be too little too late because DeMuslim doesn't have the military on the field. 71 military for Wham, 6 for DeMuslim, 0 for DeMuslim. DeMuslim has no military and he's just not been able to produce it. He doesn't have the gold. That's the thing. He's been starved of the resource. And Wham, looking strong. He's looking so strong that he takes the game, he takes the set, and Wham progresses to the finals of Pool 2, I believe it is, isn't it? Yeah. Pool 2 in the June monthlies. The Canadian makes it through and is looking strong to be able to solidify his road to Redbull Wololo Legacy golden ticket to the main event. We shall see if he makes it in a future video. And if you would like to see the rest of the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy June finals, do click the endcast screen right now, which will take you to the next matchup, which will probably be the Mister versus Lucifron. And one of those two players will meet Wham in the final. Take care, guys, and see you next time.